Hey everybody, welcome to our online classroom. It's good to be able to finally get together with you. It's been very quiet around here, just the teachers are here. We've been putting in a lot of time learning the different techniques and the different technologies we're going to be using to be able to deliver our classes online. But we really miss you. We've been praying for you, and it's just not the same without you guys here. So I'm glad we're able to meet in this online world, and we're looking forward to being able to get together, even though it's virtually, so we can still stay in touch. Today, I'm going to walk you through our first lesson, and every day when you come, there'll either be a video posted here or there'll be an assignment here, so you'll need to be checking in each day, but I'm glad you found our classroom, and let's take a look around. So I'm going to show you English 2 Section 1 classroom, but it's going to be the same for all three sections. So Section 3, Section 4, it'll be the same thing for you. When you log in and get to our class, you'll come into the general page or the general channel. Here is where you're going to see a lot of different things up top. There probably won't be too much posted here. Right now I just put the video here because I knew you were going to come here first. Usually the videos and the assignments are going to, or the lessons are going to be posted in whatever week of the week it is. So like for the first lesson that we're going to have, it'll be in March 20th, and we'll go there in a little bit. So these channels are the things that you need to look for when you're looking for your lesson. And there's also three other channels I'd like to talk to you about. The first one is the discussion board. So what you'll need to do in the discussion board is I'm going to post a question, and then you are going to reply to that question. So it's like we're having a discussion in class, kind of like a Socratic seminar, but everybody's going to be doing it at the same time. You'll post, and it's not going to be split into smaller groups. So when you're here, you're going to post a reply, and then you're also going to have to answer or reply to two other answers that your classmates have posted, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The next channel I want to take a look at is public questions. So this is like raising your hand when you're in class. If it's a question that you think everyone would benefit from hearing, or if it's a question you think someone else might know the answer to, we're going to post our questions here. I'm going to check that each night, and I'll be answering those questions. But if you're on there and you see a question you know the answer to, go ahead and reply. That way they can get the answer quicker, and we'll be able to help each other out there. It's obviously the same as if we were in the classroom. Make sure you keep these questions academic. We're not going to ask, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Or hey, have you seen the new video that's out? We want to make sure it's academic. You can still use your own social media to keep in touch with each other, but everything in this classroom should be academic. And then the last channel here is what's called synchronous classroom. So when you're doing your lessons like you are today, that's called asynchronous learning. So that means it's not at the same time. Asynchronous learning is what you're going to be doing most of the week. But there's going to be 2 times during the week that we'll be able to meet together at the same time in our virtual classroom and have a video chat. So every Wednesday, you're going to meet with each of your teachers and all of your classmates, and you're going to go through an abbreviated day online. And so next Wednesday, when we get together, you're going to log in at a certain time. We'll have 25 minutes together for the class, and then you'll go to your next class after that. On Fridays, we're also going to have that synchronous class time, but it's going to be optional. So if you have questions about something, or you just like to get together and see how everyone's doing, I'll probably do something fun, like maybe those word puzzles, although thinking you could look it up on your phone and get the answers. But I can't give you any Jolly Ranchers anyway, so we'll see. We'll figure something else out. But this is where you're going to go. So when I say, okay, Wednesday, we'll meet you in the online classroom, you want to click down to this channel, and that will be the synchronous learning on Wednesdays, and then optional on Fridays. Fridays, you will still have a lesson. You'll still have to log in and do it. But as far as the class time or classroom time together goes, the synchronous learning, that won't be on Fridays. That'll be optional. All right. So going back to the general page, then this is where you'll see posts that are for the whole class, or for the whole class time, or just general things. When you come in, you'll usually check this first, but then go find the week that you're in. There's some other things up here, though, that you're going to need to use. Every week has files. So if you go to Files, it's going to have your resources for the week. But in the general section, these are going to have resources for the whole class time. So the whole quarter are going to be here. So this is where you find like the novel that we've read. We'll need to go back there because we're going to be doing some things with that next week. You're going to find the textbook. So you can click on that. And then these things I also put in this week's files, but it's for the whole year. So if you are 2 weeks in and you're like, oh, I can't remember what the rubric was for the discussion, you can come back to general instead of trying to remember which week that was in. Class notebook, I'm not sure if I'm going to use. Some of you use that in math class. It's OneNote. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use that yet, but there's where it is if I say go to your class notebook. Anytime you have an assignment that I've posted in here, you'll need to come back to general and then go to assignments. But your assignment today is going to be a Flipgrid. So the Flipgrid is going to, you're going to create a short video. To log into Flipgrid, you just go to Google and sign in, and then you're in. So today you're going to have to say hello, so you can greet everybody, and you're going to have to answer the 2 questions that Mr. Sievert asked in the welcome video. I know you've been watching a lot of videos, so I didn't want you just to kind of skip through it and get right to the assignment. So I'm going to put the questions in my video, so you have to answer them. You have to watch the video in order to answer them. So this is your first question. Get a piece of paper and pencil, or after I ask it, you can pause it and then type it into your iPad notes. But the first question you have to answer on your video is this. With this new normal, and I call it a new normal because it's new, we have never had to isolate ourselves or social distance ourselves. We haven't ever had to we haven't been, kept from going to the store or meeting in big groups. Like yesterday, I went to church online because we're not having church together because that's too many people. So this is new, but it's going to be normal. It looks like we're going to stay here probably until April 15th. Could go a little longer. We're not sure. But it's going to be what we do now. So for this new normal, even though there's a lot of negatives and it's been tough, what I'd like to know is what is one blessing that has happened because of this. Anytime we've had things that have been bad or negative that happen in our lives, you can always look for, hey, there is something good that's come out of it. For instance, I'm learning how to do this online teaching. But the best thing that's happened for me, the best blessing I've received from this situation is with my daughter. So my daughter goes to school up in Minnesota. She was down here for spring break when all of this started happening. And then they canceled school for her now, so she doesn't even have to go back. So she was trying to debate, should I go back and be there or should I stay here? Thankfully, she's staying here, so I get to see her every day. I get to help if anything happens. And for her, the blessing is she's in a great, wonderful state with beautiful weather, and she has her mom cooking for her, so she doesn't have to worry about making meals. And so both of us are getting blessings, even though this is a very tough and different situation than we've ever had to endure. So that's your first question. What is a blessing that you've seen because of this sad or bad thing that's happening to us right now? All right, write that down. And when you do your Flipgrid, make sure you answer that. There'll be one more question a little bit later. All right, so let's go to the week of March 16th through the 20th. So this is now today, this week is only going to have one day because today is March 20th, Friday. Next week, you're going to be going to the week of March 23rd to 27th. But here, you're going to see your lesson. So the first lesson is called Welcome Assignment. Tells you the date, and then it's always going to tell you the objectives, the resources, and the assignment that you have from this lesson. So the objective tells you this is what you're going to be able to do at the end of the lesson. If you can't do that, then you need to contact me. You can post a public question, but you need to be able to do all of these things by the end of the lesson. So let's take a look at what the objectives are today. I will be able to navigate to today's lesson and today's assignment. I'll be able to read the online expectations and read the do's and the don'ts to posting in a discussion board. And then finally, I'll be able to create a Flipgrid video. So pretty simple today, but you should be able to do all of that at the end, but make sure you do each of those things. The resources you're going to be using is an online video in the general channel. So that's up here. That's what you're watching right now. The Flipgrid, remember that's back in the general channel, and then it'll be up on top. The online discussion handout, that's going to be in the files right there. Or I've also posted them down here. You're also going to use the do's and don'ts to online discussion article. And then one I didn't put, oh, there it is, online discussion rubric. We're going to look at that as well. Then, in order to show me that you are able to do these things, you're going to do this assignment. So this assignment says you're going to create a Flipgrid, so I know you're going to be able to do that, and you're going to answer the 2 questions that I'm posting to you in this video. All right, so that's going to be in every lesson. Then underneath the line, there's going to be your lesson. So go ahead, when we're done, click to week of March 16th through 20th, read through that, and then you'll be able to complete the lesson. All right, the first thing I want to do is take a look at the online learning expectations. You'll need to read the whole thing, but I'm going to just touch on a couple of things. So when you click on it, notice how it brings a PDF up. You can make it bigger if it's difficult to read. And let's take a look. Please read through the introduction, the contact, office hours. I want to tell you about this. If you want to meet with me or call me, you can do that during my office hours. So Tuesdays, 9 to 12 in the morning, Thursdays, 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Feel free to you're going to set up an appointment with me. You can email that to me, or you can request one on the calendar. Just set up an appointment and invite me. You're going to have time to do that on Tuesdays. So that is set aside for times for me to work with students. It's going to be one-on-one, but we can do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'll help you with anything you're having trouble with. Online expectations, read through that. Synchronous learning, we talked about that already. That's going to be on Wednesdays. And then the online behaviors, the do's and don'ts, we're going to be looking at a sheet for that. All right. So let's take a look, at the next one. This is the do's and don'ts of your discussion posts. So remember when I said you're going to have to reply to an answer and then reply to 2 classmates? These are the do's and don'ts for that. Make sure you think before you post. Do all the reading, all the prep work, and then write your answer. Make sure that you respond early so that other classmates can reply to yours. Then you want to check back. Make sure you reply to 2 classmates, but then you're also going to be answering any questions that they might have put in to your post. Make sure you express your opinions. And then use textual evidence. Make sure you use examples so people can understand your post. Do post something that furthers the discussion. Don't just put, yeah, or great idea, or I think the same thing. You want to further the discussion. And then make sure you reply to 2 classmates. And remember, it's hard to tell if you're joking online. So if you do tell a joke, put a little emoji that's a smiley emoji to let them know you're joking. Make sure you don't just agree with everything. If you disagree, do it nicely, but make sure you let people know you have a difference of opinion. Don't reply to the same people each time. Don't get personal. Make sure that you address their ideas and arguments, but don't criticize them. And then don't bring the outside in. Don't have inside jokes or things like that other people might not understand. All right. Here's the rubric. I'm not going to read through it, but I'd like you to look at this because this is how I'm going to grade your online discussions. So it's in your assignment or your lesson, so make sure you read through that so that when we do get to the online discussion post that you know how I'm going to grade it. All right. Second question that you're going to answer when you get to Flipgrid. So you remember you go back to Journal, click Flipgrid, you're going to log in with your Google account. It's going to look like this. What you're going to do is, the second question is, there obviously are a lot of negatives with this coronavirus going around. What I'd like you to do is share what is one of the more difficult things that are happening because of this coronavirus. Now, you don't have to share anything too personal if you don't want, but for me, the biggest disappointment or the saddest thing for me is not seeing you guys every day. These 3 sections that I teach is the best part of my day. I love teaching. I love being with kids, and it's been very difficult not seeing you. So I get to see you on Wednesdays. Those are going to be great days, and I hope this ends soon so that we can get back together in the classroom and see each other every day. All right. I'm out of time, but there is someone else that wants to say hi, so I am going to post one more video below me. Make sure you watch it.